First question is, given the changes in the employment climate since the recession and the move to a jobs climate in favor of the employee, what do you think will be some of the biggest impacts that businesses need to be prepared for? And we'll start all the way down the end with Mary.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. As Chris said, I'm with the Greater Des Moines Partnership, and we're a regional economic and community development organization. So maybe I'll start addressing that question from the 50,000 foot level, and then we'll let the other panelists kind of dig down in. Yes, a 4% unemployment rate, but I guess we could look at the positive side of that, and part of that is because we've been creating so many new jobs here in central Iowa. And at the same time, our population growth has been growing since 2000. We have experienced in central Iowa just under a 20% population growth. So what's happening is Des Moines is hot. It is a very, very hot commodity right now, and we need to keep that momentum going. So from that perspective, I guess I would say overall, what businesses and what everybody in this room can do is really help continue to be marketers for this community. So when we talk about the end of the recession and that potential flight risk, that's not just here. People all across the country are starting to say, where's that job that I want? But even more so, where's that community where I can have the quality of life that's important to me, so I can have that great balance. And Des Moines is on the radar screen all across the nation. Yes, businesses are looking to try and come in and attract our talent, but businesses are also looking to come here because they know this is a community where that talent wants to live and have great success in employment. So my first challenge, I guess, to everyone is make sure your employees feel great about your company, but also help engage them in this process of recruiting and arm them, encourage them to tell the story about Greater Des Moines. So when we get the rankings, help them to become our marketers and spread the word about the great things that are going on in this community. And then the second piece is, I think we have to really start looking down at the next generation of our talent pipeline. So we're really all going to have to become more engaged in bringing young adults, middle and high school students into our workplaces, giving them opportunities to try out careers, to job shadow, career exploration, really help them understand the great potential they will have here in central Iowa and get them on a good pathway while they're still in middle and high schools, so that they can find those opportunities here in central Iowa that will feed their passions and that they can be successful.
Monica?
Thank you. So from the company perspective, when we look at recruitment, we recruit folks certainly from Iowa, we recruit across the country. And, as Mary said, for us it begins with making sure that folks can see themselves having a long-term career with our organization. So, it's important, obviously, kind of table stakes for them to understand not only the role that we're talking to them about, but also how their career can progress throughout the organization. And we talk a lot about movement across different disciplines into different business units, and we have the opportunity to do that here with nearly 5,000 associates in central Iowa and 33,000 associates across the country. We talk about the associate value proposition, and that's something that we spend a lot of time on, both with candidates and re-recruiting our current associates, if you will, helping them to understand all that Nationwide has to offer, and we want them to feel that they are a cultural fit with the organization and not just stop at that job fit. And with that associate value proposition, you spoke about benefits. Obviously, we have you have to have again, table stakes and an extensive benefits offering that meets the needs of all types of families. Beyond that, they're looking for opportunities for development. So you showed me that career path, but help me understand how you're going to invest in me to grow in my professional development and continue my education. So, tuition reimbursement, those professional development opportunities, both in-house and externally, are very important. And also it's important that they can bring, their whole self to work. So finding a way to connect with other associates within our organization. We have associate resource groups, and that's something that people find very important as they're joining an organization, to be able to connect not only with people within their given discipline or work group, but also across that have a similar interest that they do. In addition to that, it's important to give back to the community, as Mary indicates, and we do that in a number of ways. We help our associates to understand that it is an expectation that you will, if that inspires you, we support you going out and volunteering within the community. And in fact, we reward folks for doing that. We give them paid time off in exchange for 25 volunteer hours that they have dedicated to a given organization of their choosing, and we also give money to that organization. So again, it's that associate value proposition, engaging the individuals that you're recruiting and also retaining those that you have. But I think as an organization, we also have an obligation back to the community. That is very important. As I mentioned, we do try to attract folks, and we successfully do, from across the country. But it's incumbent upon us to also make sure that we're investing and continuing to make Des Moines a vibrant place that's attractive to folks, from all across the country to come here. And we do that by investing, financially, and also, as I mentioned, volunteer service of our associates, board service, all of those things that are so important. I think it is a responsibility that we have, because we all win if we attract folks to the community, and we all win if we attract new businesses to the community. So we take any chance we can to help out the partnership as they're courting a new business to come to town. We love to talk about Des Moines, and we love to talk about the employment market here, because we feel that it's very strong.
Dave?
Chris, thanks for having me. Drake, thanks for being a sponsor, but I had to wear my UNI purple. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I like it. I'll take a little bit different spin on it from the recruitment side. I think about your question. The biggest impacts businesses need to be prepared for. You mentioned it with the RHI salary guide. We're seeing it with salaries really across the board. I'm a little bit surprised from what we've seen. We haven't seen as big of an increase in salaries yet, but I'm expecting that to happen here towards the latter part of 2014. So be prepared for that. We are starting to see some salary compression, where companies, if they're wanting to find talent, they may have to pay more than what they're currently paying their employees currently. So that gets people into a sticky situation when you have to bring in a person and offer more money than what you're currently paying your staff, who may have been there 5, 10 years. So there's some ways around that, and some things that businesses can do to keep those people engaged and keep them going with maybe a succession plan, or show them the path that you spoke about. I'll put in a little bit shameless plug for us. You may have to utilize a contingent workforce. Temporary employees are becoming more and more popular. You look at all the statistics, and it's just a growing segment of our entire workforce is the temporary workforce. And companies cannot always wait to find that direct hire resource, so they need to fill the gap. Some other things that are more and more common is counteroffers. We see it literally every day in our business. We provide somebody an offer, they've accepted, they're ready to go. My staff knows this. There's several of them out in the audience here. That's the biggest part of our conversations, and what we do is to try to manage and maintain those expectations, because companies are throwing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 at their employees to keep them where they're at instead of quitting. So it's a tough situation for companies on both sides of the fence. You know, whether you're hiring somebody or watching somebody try to exit to manage through. If you want somebody, you interview them. You need to act. We see too many times, and it's a big frustration from the recruitment side, that companies like to be methodical and take their time. That's no longer the market to do that. You gotta, if you want somebody, move on it and get them going and show that that passion you have for them and that you want them on your team. Something you may talk about, but we're still seeing some companies want to pay for relocation, some companies don't. I think we're in the market now where companies need to think about a relocation package if they're not doing it. And then, you know, my last point I'll make is during the recession, companies were thin, and a lot of companies were working their people long hours, having them do 2 or 3 jobs, which impacted that person's loyalty to the company. There were layoffs. Didn't matter how long you were there. I've seen people laid off 20, 30 years at a company. So those people that weren't necessarily thinking they were going to have to relocate or to move position started mentally preparing themselves. They got their resume together in the recession. They started putting their network out, and those people, now that the market's hot, those people are getting called. They're getting recruited, and so you may lose some people depending on how you treated them during the recession. So that's my comments.
Sid, Secretary Debra.
Chris, thank you for inviting me to be part of this, and thank you everyone for coming. One of the challenges, I think, and there has been allusion to this already, facing the corporate environment right now because of the change in the environmental climate is, or the economic climate rather, is the fact that there's pent-up desire to leave. Right Management did a survey in 2013 in which they determined that 4 out of 5 employees, and this is employees all the way from entry level through the executive C-suite, are looking to relocate or move to another opportunity. Whether that is because of dissatisfaction with where they are, whether it is getting back to that mindset that Chris referred to, where not only did companies either overtly or covertly say they're lucky to have a job and we don't need to do any value-add support for new people, but even the employees themselves had that attitude. And now they're finding that they have value to offer and that they may not necessarily feel valued where they are. So recognizing, I think, that the retention process really begins with the onboarding process. When you hire somebody, recognizing that it's not just about the job, it's about all of the other factors that are associated with their decision to come to you. And if it is someone who's relocated to join your company, keep in mind that 80% of relocated executives will move when the opportunity presents itself and the economy is right, if they have not had a good onboarding experience. My company doesn't do the logistical relocation piece. There are so many good companies that do, but we had an experience with the corporate relocation ourselves in 2000, having the opportunity to move to Des Moines, which, as Mary has pointed out, is an incredible market and has developed over that last decade into one. But the reality is that the typical relocation experience for companies and their executives is, here's a realtor and good luck. And that doesn't work anymore. Realizing that employees have families, employees have lives outside of the job, and recognizing that when you're onboarding your people, that building in connections to the company's culture and the community's culture is essential. So I would say that that's really the both challenge and opportunity with this new economic climate.